Look, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now and pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. Because on May 20th, Microsoft is implementing a change that's going to fundamentally alter how you use your computer. And I'm not being dramatic here. This isn't speculation. This isn't rumor. This is documented policy that Microsoft has announced. And if you don't understand what's happening and take action before that date, you could find yourself locked out of your own computer, unable to access your files, unable to use the machine you paid for, all because you don't want to surrender your privacy to Microsoft's cloud services. Here's what's happening. Starting May 20th, Microsoft is removing the ability to create or use local accounts on Windows 11 Home Edition during the setup process. What does that mean in plain English? It means you will be forced, absolutely required, to sign in with a Microsoft account to use Windows. No workarounds. No bypass options. No local accounts that exist only on your computer. Microsoft is making it mandatory that your computer, your personal device, is tied to their cloud services, their servers, their surveillance infrastructure. And if you think this doesn't affect you because you already have Windows installed, think again, because this is just the beginning of a much larger shift in how Microsoft views your relationship with your own computer. Let me break down exactly what a local account is and why Microsoft desperately wants to eliminate it. A local account is a user profile that exists only on your physical computer. Your username, your password, your settings, your files, everything stays on your device. Nobody else has access. No cloud syncing, no data transmission to corporate servers, no surveillance. It's how computers worked for decades before tech companies decided that everything needs to be connected to the cloud all the time. With a local account, you have complete control and complete privacy. Your computer is truly yours. A Microsoft account, on the other hand, is a cloud-based identity tied to Microsoft servers. When you sign in with a Microsoft account, everything about your computer usage is connected to that account and synchronized to Microsoft's cloud. Your settings sync across devices. Your files can be automatically uploaded to OneDrive. Your activity is tracked and logged. Your data is analyzed for advertising and service improvement. Microsoft knows what applications you use, what files you access, when you use your computer, how you use it, everything. And all of that information lives on their servers where you don't control it, where law enforcement can subpoena it, where hackers can potentially access it if Microsoft's security fails, where Microsoft can analyze it and monetize it however they see fit. The official reason Microsoft gives for this change is security and convenience. They claim Microsoft accounts provide better security through two-factor authentication and account recovery options. They say Cloud Sync makes it easier to set up new devices and access your files anywhere. They position this as a feature that helps users. But let's be absolutely clear about what's really happening here. Microsoft is forcing cloud connectivity because it serves Microsoft's business interests, not yours. Every user on a Microsoft account is a user whose data Microsoft can collect. Every user syncing to OneDrive is a user who might run out of free storage and pay for a subscription. Every user locked into Microsoft's ecosystem is a user who's less likely to switch to competitors. The timing of this is important. Microsoft has been gradually making it harder to use local accounts for years. Windows 10 made local accounts less obvious during setup, hiding the option behind obscure workarounds. Windows 11 initially required a Microsoft account, but had bypass methods that users discovered and shared online. Microsoft kept closing those bypass methods with each update, playing whack-a-mole with users who valued their privacy. And now, on May 20th, they're eliminating the option entirely for Windows 11 Home Edition. No more bypasses, no more workarounds. If you want to use Windows 11 Home, you must surrender to Microsoft's surveillance. Let me show you exactly what this looks like in practice. When you try to set up Windows 11 after May 20th, you'll reach a screen that says, "Let's add your Microsoft account." There will be a field to enter your email address. There will be a button to create a new Microsoft account if you don't have one. And there will be no option to skip this step. None. The setup process will not proceed without a Microsoft account. If you try to set up without internet, which was one of the old workarounds, Windows will now refuse to continue, telling you that an internet connection is required. If you try to use fake email addresses or bypass techniques that used to work, they're all blocked now. Microsoft has thought of everything and closed every escape route. But it gets worse. This isn't just about new installations. Microsoft is also pressuring existing users with local accounts to convert to Microsoft accounts. You're seeing prompts in Windows Update telling you to sign in with a Microsoft account for the best experience. You're seeing warnings that certain features require a Microsoft account. You're seeing limitations imposed on local accounts that don't apply to Microsoft accounts. This is a slow squeeze, making local accounts increasingly inconvenient and limited until users give up and switch. And with the May 20th change, Microsoft is signaling where this is headed. Local accounts will eventually be eliminated entirely, even for existing installations, even for Pro and Enterprise editions. This is just the first step. The Consumer System Compliance Audit reports that inform this policy are revealing when you dig into them. Microsoft conducted internal studies about user behavior, account security, and service adoption. What they found is that users with Microsoft accounts engage more with Microsoft services, generate more data that Microsoft can monetize, are more likely to subscribe to paid services like Microsoft 365 and OneDrive storage, and are less likely to switch to competitor platforms because their data and settings are locked into Microsoft's ecosystem. The decision to force Microsoft accounts isn't about your security or convenience. It's about Microsoft's revenue and control. The service limitations framework that Microsoft has implemented shows the strategy clearly. Features are being divided into tiers. Basic functionality works with local accounts. Advanced features require Microsoft accounts. Premium features require paid subscriptions. This tiered approach allows Microsoft to progressively lock more and more functionality behind the requirement to use their cloud services and eventually pay for subscriptions. Your operating system, which you supposedly purchased, becomes a gateway to ongoing revenue extraction. You're not buying software anymore. You're entering into a perpetual service relationship where Microsoft controls what you can do with your own hardware. Let me tell you about the privacy implications of forced Microsoft accounts because they're staggering. When you sign in with a Microsoft account, Windows sends diagnostic data to Microsoft about everything you do. What applications you run, what files you open, what websites you visit if you use Edge, what you search for, how long you use your computer, when you use it, what settings you change, what devices you connect, everything. Microsoft claims this data is anonymized and used only for improving Windows, but their privacy policy gives them incredibly broad permissions to collect, analyze, and share this data. And unlike a local account where your data stays on your device, a Microsoft account means your data is transmitted to and stored on Microsoft's servers. OneDrive integration is automatically enabled with Microsoft accounts, and it's designed in a way that's deliberately confusing. Your desktop, documents, and pictures folders can be automatically synced to OneDrive without you explicitly enabling it. Files you thought were only on your computer are suddenly in the cloud. If you exceed your OneDrive storage limit, which is only 5 GB for free accounts, you can't save files to your own desktop without either deleting cloud files or paying for more storage. Your local hard drive, the physical storage you paid for, becomes subordinate to Microsoft's cloud storage quota. It's absurd, but it's by design. Microsoft wants you dependent on OneDrive, so you'll eventually pay for a subscription. Activity history is another privacy nightmare. With a Microsoft account, Windows tracks every application you use, every document you open, every website you visit, and syncs this timeline across all your devices. Microsoft says this helps you pick up where you left off, but it also creates a comprehensive surveillance record of your digital life. This data is stored on Microsoft's servers indefinitely unless you manually delete it, and there's no guarantee that deletion is permanent. The data could still exist in backups, in aggregated analytics, and shared databases with partners. Once you put your data in someone else's cloud, you lose control over it. Cortana and search integration with Microsoft accounts means your searches, both local file searches and web searches, are sent to Microsoft servers for processing. Even when you're searching for a file on your own computer, that search query goes through Microsoft's cloud. Why? So Microsoft can analyze your behavior, improve their algorithms, and serve you targeted content. Your computer isn't working for you anymore. It's working for Microsoft, generating valuable data that they own and profit from. Now let me tell you exactly how to protect yourself from this. If you're currently using a local account on Windows 10 or Windows 11, do not upgrade or reinstall Windows after May 20th without understanding the consequences. Your current local account will continue to work on your existing installation, but if you ever need to reinstall Windows or set up a new computer, you'll be forced into a Microsoft account unless you take specific precautions. Here's the most important thing you can do. Switch to Windows 11 Pro or Enterprise Edition before May 20th if you absolutely must stay on Windows. Pro and Enterprise Editions still allow local accounts, at least for now. You can buy a Windows 11 Pro license for around $100, or sometimes find legitimate discount keys for less. The upgrade from Home to Pro is straightforward. Go to Settings, System, Activation, and click Upgrade your edition of Windows. Enter your Pro license key, and Windows will upgrade without reinstalling or losing your files. Once you're on Pro, you have the option to use local accounts during setup, and you have access to group policy settings that give you much more control over Windows behavior. If you're setting up a new computer or reinstalling Windows before May 20th, create a local account immediately and refuse all prompts to switch to a Microsoft account. During Windows 11 setup, when it asks for a Microsoft account, look for the option that says Sign-in Options or Offline Account, depending on your Windows version. Follow the prompts to create a local account instead. Make sure you're not connected to the internet during setup if possible, as this makes the local account option more prominent. Once you have your local account set up, configure Windows to stop nagging you to switch to a Microsoft account. Here's how to disable the Microsoft account nagging. Open Settings, go to Accounts, and make sure you're signed in with a local account. Go to Privacy and Security. Turn off everything related to activity history. Diagnostic data collection should be set to required diagnostic data only. Turn off all the personalized advertising and content options. Disable online speech recognition. Turn off inking and typing personalization. Basically go through every privacy setting and disable Microsoft's data collection wherever possible. It won't stop everything because Windows 11 forces some telemetry, but it minimizes what you're sending. Use Group Policy Editor if you have Windows Pro to lock down even more settings. Press Windows key plus R, type gpedit.msc, and explore the policies under Computer Configuration and User Configuration. You can disable telemetry entirely, prevent Windows from downloading consumer features and advertisements, block Microsoft account sign-in, prevent OneDrive from syncing, disable Cortana, block Windows tips and suggestions. Basically, turn off all the intrusive features that serve Microsoft rather than you. There are comprehensive guides online for which policies to change. Take the time to configure these because default Windows is hostile to your privacy. Disable Windows Update's automatic restarts and feature updates if you want to prevent Microsoft from forcing changes on you. In Group Policy Editor, go to Computer Configuration, Administrative Templates, Windows Components, Windows Update, and configure policies to notify before downloading updates. Prevent automatic restart and defer feature updates. This gives you control over when and whether updates are installed, which is critical because Microsoft uses updates to push new surveillance features and restrictions. Consider switching to Linux if you want complete freedom from Microsoft's control. I know this sounds extreme, but hear me out. Modern Linux distributions like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and Fedora are user-friendly, free, and respect your privacy by default. They don't require cloud accounts. They don't collect telemetry unless you explicitly opt in. They give you complete control over your computer. And for most users doing web browsing, email, document editing, and media consumption, Linux handles everything perfectly. You can dual boot Linux alongside Windows, keeping Windows available for the few things that absolutely require it while doing everything else in Linux. Over time, you'll probably find yourself using Windows less and less. If you're committed to staying on Windows, at least minimize your dependence on Microsoft services. Use a local account instead of a Microsoft account. Use a third-party cloud service like Dropbox, Google Drive, or better yet, privacy-focused services like Nextcloud or SyncThing instead of OneDrive. Use Firefox or Brave instead of Edge. Use Google Docs or LibreOffice instead of Microsoft 365. Use an email service like ProtonMail or Tutanota instead of Outlook.com. Every Microsoft service you replace is a piece of leverage they lose over you. Encrypt your hard drive with VeraCrypt or use BitLocker if you have Windows Pro. Full disk encryption protects your data if your computer is stolen or seized, and it ensures that your files are unreadable without your encryption password, even if someone tries to access your hard drive directly. This is especially important if you're being forced to use a Microsoft account and sync to the cloud, because encryption is your last line of defense against unauthorized access. Back up everything locally to external drives that you control. Don't rely on cloud backups exclusively. Use Windows Backup or third-party tools like Macrium Reflect to create complete system images that you can restore if something goes wrong. Store these backups on external hard drives, disconnected from your computer when not in use. This protects you from ransomware, from Microsoft, locking you out of your account, from cloud services going down or changing their terms, from everything. Local backups are the only backups you truly control. Document your setup and configuration. Take screenshots of your important settings, write down your installed programs, note your customizations. If you ever need to reinstall Windows or switch to a new computer, having this documentation makes it much easier to get back to a working state. And if you're using workarounds or registry hacks to maintain privacy and control, document exactly what you did so you can replicate it after updates or reinstalls. Stay informed about Microsoft's policy changes. Follow tech news sites, privacy advocacy organizations, and Windows communities that track these issues. Microsoft announces major changes in blog posts and documentation updates that most users never see. By staying informed, you can anticipate problems and take action before they affect you. When Microsoft announces the next restriction, the next required cloud service, the next elimination of user control, you'll know about it early and can respond appropriately. Consider whether you really need Windows at all. Seriously evaluate your computing needs and whether they require Windows specifically, or if they can be met by alternatives. If you're just browsing the web, checking email, editing documents, and streaming media, literally any operating system can do that. You don't need Windows. You don't need Microsoft's surveillance. You don't need their forced cloud services. You have options. And exercising those options is the most effective way to reject Microsoft's control. The May 20th deadline is a wake-up call. Microsoft is showing you exactly what they think about user choice, privacy, and control. They're telling you that your computer isn't really yours. It's a terminal connected to their cloud services, and they decide how it works. and they're willing to offer, because privacy doesn't generate data they can monetize. They're telling you that convenience, as they define it, is more important than your autonomy and your rights. You don't have to accept this. You can refuse to play by Microsoft's rules. You can keep using local accounts on Windows Pro. You can switch to Linux. You can minimize your use of Microsoft services. You can encrypt your data and back up locally. You can take concrete steps right now, today, to preserve your privacy and control in the face of Microsoft's increasingly aggressive attempts to surveil and restrict you. The choice is yours, but you need to make it soon. May 20th is the line in the sand. After that date, setting up Windows 11 Home without a Microsoft account becomes impossible. The workarounds will be gone, the bypass methods will be closed. Microsoft will have eliminated one more piece of user freedom in their march toward total cloud dependency. Don't wait until you're forced to make a decision in a moment of crisis when your computer breaks and you need to reinstall. Make the decision now while you have time to research, plan, and implement alternatives. Download Linux and try it. Upgrade to Windows Pro while you still can. Configure your privacy settings aggressively. Switch to alternative services that respect your rights. Back up everything to local storage you control. Document your setup. Stay informed about future changes. And most importantly, understand that this is not about technology, it's about power. It's about who controls your computing experience. It's about whether you're a customer who owns your device or a user who rents access to Microsoft services. Microsoft wants the latter. They want you dependent, surveilled, subscribed, locked in. They're using May 20th to take another step in that direction. Your response to this deadline will determine whether you preserve your digital autonomy or surrender it. Choose wisely. Choose now. And choose freedom.